Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July 22nd. Hey, we're joined by our usual crowd. Josh, Tom, Lee, and Gentry are going to share some tips on their bodies of water that they represent. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say about putting a few more fish in the boat for yourselves. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July 22nd. We're joined by Lee Pitts, who's going to talk a little Neely, Henry, and Weiss Lake. Lee, what's going on there, Mr. Guru? What's happening at Weiss?
I'll tell you, Weiss has been a little tough this week. We've had a little bit of rain, which is good, and some wind, but it's kind of got those fish where they don't really know if they want to stay out there in that super deep stuff and hold tight to the cover, or if they want to kind of bust up and try to get a little bit shallow. So still, when we've got sunshine, the dock bite's been pretty good. Believe it or not, we're still catching a few in the grass early. When you can find, and that all depends on how that water fluctuates. If they drop that, water 3 inches, 4 inches in the grass, you can just kind of take that out of the whole game plan. But if we got a full pool and some of the deeper little low turns or crooks, that they can get in that grass, you can catch them early. When that sun gets up, you better back out there and go to some wood cover.
Okay, what about the crappie there at Weiss? Are they still going? You haven't looked deep. Are they even an option?
Yeah, it's something. You're not going to go out there and catch 60. A lot of these guys they're calling right now still want the crappie fish, but you can still go catch some. Most of them are deep. They've kind of left that dock area, the wood cover and the shade. They went on out there on that creek ledge and got in some brush and some stumps down there. The thing is, right now you're going vertical. You're dropping straight down with either live bait or a still baby shad, slab slayer, something like that with a Bobby Garland bait and just putting it in front of their face and making them eat it. And it's one of those deals where once you catch 2 or 3, 4 maybe off of it, they bust out. You got to leave it and go try to find something else. But if you can find some good brush piles in that 14, 16, 18 foot of water right now, you can catch a few, but when that sun gets high, you better be doing something else. Here lately on Weiss, I've been having a lot of people get out. We'll hit them early and get out there and get on them and chasing these white bass. They're surfacing and busting shad and chasing, and especially with kids, man, you can get out there on these white bass and have some fun.
Sounds like it. Okay, last 30 seconds. Tell me what's going on at Neely Henry this week.
Neely's still looking pretty good. Everybody I've talked to down there, this week I've been on Weiss more, but the crappie bite hadn't really been a lot of action down there with it. But they're still catching bass. Most of these guys they're going to catching the spots. Got to have that water moving. You get in some of these places, shaky head, little ball head jig, something like that, something small. And even with the grass bite at Neely, they're still, you can see in the evening tournaments, they're still having some pretty good largemouth weight in. So these fish are coming up tight, round docks, in some of that thicker grass. So Neely's still looking good right now.
Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next week. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July the 22nd. After giving Josh the last week to suffer through listening to his father, we decided to bring Josh back and show us the real stuff. Josh, what's happening on Logan Martin and Lay Lake these days?
Yeah, man. It's hot.
It is.
Everything right now is pretty much dictated by current. These fish are really kind of keying up on offshore brush, stuff like that, and that seems to be the gig right now. And if it's not offshore brush, it's boot docks at Logan Martin. It's just that time of year.
Is it a topwater thing early? Is it a crankbait thing? What are you doing?
I mean, mostly, man, you can crank these piles pretty good. I actually like to try to crank them and get these fish feeding up if possible. Shaky heads are really good this time of year. Ned rig deals, stuff like that. Just like little bottom bouncing baits seem to be working really good. It's also the time of year where you can kind of start playing with like a Nico rig and start kind of doing some vertical fishing. You can get over them. Drop shot style, you can catch a bunch of these spotted bass on Logan with a drop shot. It's kind of cool time of year to play with your electronics. Lay, outside of largemouth, it's the same gig. Spotted bass are doing pretty much the same thing down there. They're really keyed up on standing timber, brush, these little rock transition, these creek mouths and stuff like that. The largemouth bite it's going to be a really early thing. right now, and then it's kind of embraced the grind on it. These it's that time of year where even these shallow fish, once it gets really really hot and that sun gets straight up and down, you're kind of fishing for five at that point.
Is it if the largemouth bite is there, are we wanting to turn to a flipping bite in the middle of the day? Is that what we're looking for? Trying to get into the grass?
Yeah, that's it, man. It's the time of year like where you pick up a flipping stick and you go try to catch five, and that's honestly, man, that can be an accomplishment on some days if you can get a decent five with a flipping stick right now. Early morning deal is going to be a swim jig, frog, stuff like that, where you kind of get these fish chasing around. But like I said, once that sun gets straight up and down, they're either pulling off the front edge of the grass and they're suspending. When if that's the case, you can kind of if you're live scoping stuff like that, you can catch a few here and there on stuff like a jerk bait or like a
Okay.
fish head spin. But outside of that, it's pick up a big weight.
Josh, as always, brother, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next week. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July 22nd. We are joined by Tom Ott, the Prince of Guntersville. We're going to talk to him a little bit. You know, fishing's not been so good, so you kind of had to take a little down step there. Tom, what's going on, brother?
Well, I have to totally agree, Dano. Fishing has definitely been tough the last couple of weeks. And I'm sure it's just the heat, the time of the year, all those kind of factors come together. It's not my favorite time to be out there melting my brain, what little's left anyway. We were finding some pretty decent schools. We did last week. We did this past week. Very difficult to get those schools to fire off. Definitely having a little bit of issue just getting some fish to bite. Really changes some gears. I think the flipping bite might be a little bit, might be able to find some fish that will cooperate a little bit sooner than these ledge fish. And again, when you pull up on ledge fish, you really don't know how long they've been molested or if they have been or exactly what's going on. But I have had a little trouble the last few weeks putting fish in the boat and at least some quality fish for sure. But I will say this, I never quit and I'll figure it out. But it's been a little tougher. Don't get discouraged with all the pictures and the guide photos and all that kind of stuff. Somebody's always catching fish, but it's been tough out there, guys. I think with this rain, we're going to get some movement to that water. It's going to pick some things up. So I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Yep, a little bit of brick wall, meat head. Tom, what about crappie bite? What about brim? What about catfish, striper, white bass? Is something else going on the lake that people can entertain themselves with?
Well, I've caught some really big catfish here lately. Not exactly targeting those catfish, but I've seen some really big catfish. There's a lot of, I've seen a lot of the catfish guys out there. We've run across a few crappie schools, but again, out on those deeper ledges, hanging over stumps, and really haven't tried to put too much together with that. Now, the brim, I think with a bobber, a cricket, you can just catch all the bluegill you want. You can see them in 5-6 foot of water just swimming all over the place. So that's definitely always a player. And as Lee was stating down there on Weiss, we've got a lot of those little white bass that are starting to come up. They're a lot of fun. You run across a school with them. We're throwing small spoons on them and just being able to put a bunch in the boat. But still looking for those big, large heads for sure.
Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, y'all be safe. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July 22nd. We are joined by Gentry Gordy, our local Lake Martin and Jordan Lake resident and expert. Gentry, what's going on at Jordan Lake? I've been hearing some tough fishing coming out of there.
Yeah, Dano, Jordan and Martin for me has been tough. Given the circumstances, just the dog days of summer. It's a fun bite, but it's usually not a fun trip. You know what I mean? It's just few fish here and there, but they're super deep. If you think you're too deep, go another 10 foot. It's just the nature of the beast this time of year. There's still a few fish getting caught, on your drop shot and your Demiki rig using your forward-facing sonars, big Carolina rigs. And, a lot of people, we throw it at you follow a lot, but, like Jordan and Martin both, a big worm big half ounce, big 8-inch worm, those spots will eat it.
I've noticed a lot of times, people think a big worm is only for big fish, but it's a long, slender bait. Keepers eat that thing a lot. Are you working it on a jig head? Are you working a Texas rig? How are you throwing it?
I do, like the big bull worms and stuff, your big finesse worms and trick worms. I do them on a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce shaky head. Texas rig, I like a big ribbon tail, I personally throw the B2, the big bites big worm. It's a B2. Plum, green pumpkin green, your basic summertime colors. But the ribbon tail on the Texas rig and your straight worms I do on the shaky head.
I'm partial to red bug myself. That's a good color.
Yeah,
all right, let's talk
absolutely.
about Martin. Tell me specifically, are we looking at a morning bite only shallow, or is there anything going on other than going deep?
There's nothing going on at Martin. I hate to say it. I actually went up there Saturday night and tried to night fish and never put a fish over the side of the boat. I could see them. I could see them. They were there. But it was one of the deals where you could see them follow your bait, and when they got to it and you stopped it, they turn away from it. This time of year, Martin's just super, super tough. You got to get 30, 40 feet to even have a chance. And if you have the ability to use your graph and try to find some bait fish out there, you may find a couple of schools, but then eventually you'll see those spots up under them. But just super, super tough. If you don't have if you're just trying to go out and fish, it don't matter what time of year. You can get up there and catch some fish shallow really, really early. But even then, it's tough. You know what I mean? It's just one or two here and there. There's nothing. It's just the water temperature up there is like 88 degrees. It's just tough.
Well, Gentry, as always, brother, we appreciate the information, as dire as it sounds. Thanks for the time, brother.
Absolutely, guys. Y'all take care.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, July the 22nd. Hey, don't forget, if you're looking for the boat of your dreams, we still got stuff on the lot. Plenty of people to be able to speak to there to help you put, whether it's financing, whether it's taking a look through a boat. We got it. We got pontoons galore. Come see us at Bucks Island. We'll help you get on the water, stay on the water with parts in the service department, and get a little bit of fun on the water, whether it's fun in the parts with towables or you're looking for that little bit of fish in the boat. We appreciate everything. We will talk to you again next week.